A number of things to present here. First, I have 3 requests for hotel tax grant funds, numbers 11, 12, and 13 for 2023. The first one being from the Community Lebanon Association for the project is flowers for hanging baskets and planters, including watering those once they're installed. And they request, the total project cost is $13,000 for this program, and they're requesting $10,000, which is in excess of the cap. So if you're inclined to waive that, you're certainly within your abilities to do so.
I'd like to advocate for full funding on this for at least this year. We can always talk to them about next year, but I believe that's one of their premier things that people see throughout the summer, and they do a very good job at this, and it's something that they've shepherded for many years. So I think that's what I would like. I know that the funds are a little strained, but we certainly can communicate for next year that so they have more time to prepare for their cut. It's just my writing.
I'll make a motion to approve.
The full amount?
Yes.
I'll second the motion. As you said, it's a very visible project and they do need to adjust, but this will give them an extra year to plan.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? James?
Yeah, when you say full amount, you mean the 10,000 it's
Yes.
listed here?
Yep. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, request number 12 is for Motorama Productions for their America's Truckfest Truck, Jeep, and Big Rig Show at the Lebanon Expo Center.
This guy wrote a book.
Yeah, sure did.
He did a really good job.
He did.
I did have a question on the end though. I'll wait till Jamie's done.
The total budget project cost for the show is $96,000. They're requesting $7,500 toward this particular event. And again, there is multiple pages of information on marketing and their budget and so on.
Yeah, it's very comprehensive. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. I just have a question though. They're asking us for $7,500. Okay, I think I figured it out. I'll second the motion. I'm good.
Okay, any discussion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
It was just confusing because they have year-round operational expenses in there, and it just seems like it's beyond the scope, but that's a total of $96,000, so it just didn't make sense that we would be supporting a year-round operation for expenses. But the advertising and things are more than what they're asking.
All right. And the third one, request 13 for the year so far. This is for the Caring Cupboard, who are conducting their annual Trek Food Truck and Arts Fest of Central PA. The total project cost, this is being held May 13th. Not this weekend, but next. The total project cost is $15,000, and they're requesting a grant of $5,000. And they've attached their flyer along with a narrative about the project.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the $5,000 request.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? No, I just have one. Where are they getting are they downloading the $10,000 is still here? Is that on the website?
Yeah, I think they're using. No, I think they're just reusing the old application from years past. So we should probably forward them a new one. They're submitting without asking. They're just using what they have on hand. So
Okay. How do you know if the ones we have here are?
no, we
corrected?
usually send them out, and that's corrected. But they may have just been drawing from an old one.
All right, okay, let's vote on this one. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved. The only other thing I would ask, because I mentioned the strain on the, in the timing of the year, that we are only in the, finished the first quarter.
Yeah.
A little bit over that, but do we want to look at capping it lower?
I think you should consider that, whether you do that today or not. You're with these grants, that's $66,000 of grants so far this year, which leaves you with remaining $55,000 unencumbered balance. Now that grows, and I'm not sure, Sally, if you offhand know how much per month goes toward that.
Well, the administration fee doesn't, but the 10% comes back of collections, which could be, right now, it's gonna pick up again, so it could be between $7,000 and $10,000 a month.
The
Once-
10%.
Yes,
Okay.
that comes back to us.
All right, well, we don't have to do anything today then.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure today, but I do think demand is increasing.
Awareness.
Awareness is increased, and the other thing is you may want to look at just. I'm not trying to, reduce maybe the effectiveness of some of these projects, but you have some of them coming back for the same amount each year, and you have some that have used it sort of as a seed and then grown from it. So, on a case-by-case basis, you may want to look at that and see if, as the event grows, do they do better and still need the same amount, or because you do have. I think that the requests are growing much more rapidly than the collections are growing. The collections are growing too, but.
I guess the one thing that I would ask us to consider is sometimes they come in raising money to give away. And so I don't feel like we're really supporting the program as supporting the person or the organization or giving the money to. Does that make sense?
Well, the Caring Cupboard is an example of that. Their Truckfest is, it's an event that draws people, but then the proceeds go toward the.
But that's also the applicant. But I'm talking about when the applicant is not the end result. There are a couple like that, and those always. I'm like, why are we giving money to a nonprofit? Essentially, it's not the one that's benefiting.
Well, I think where you're
That's
coming
not
from is
fine.
if they're making a profit, so to speak,
Yeah,
and they're giving it
away.
away.
Why are we giving them money?
Let me just let me finish this thought.
On the other hand, your view of it is, or I believe that the big view of these grants are, is it providing for people? Is it a project that people are spending money on? An event. They're renting hotel rooms. They're spending on filling the tank, restaurants, maybe visiting some retail places, things like that. That's the spin-off.
That's what I weigh
that
more
you
heavily,
get
yes.
from it. If you're saying instead of proceeds, reduce the amount of money that they're asking for the project. I mean, you can look at it that way too. But your investment is to help generate,
Right.
people coming
But do
across
they
the
really
county
need it
border.
if they're giving it away? Is the question.
Right, I understand what you're
If the
saying.
purpose of it is to give money away to support a not-for-profit or whatever, that's all part of the picture. But as long as we weigh heavily enough the attraction from outside, so people stay at hotels and
And sometimes the benefit is the draw. In other words, if you're just coming out to support, like for the Caring Cupboard, are people coming to the truck trek because they know that the Caring Cupboard benefits, supports it? That might be a reason they're coming out and participating. If there's no benefit, you might not have as much of a draw. I don't run a lot of these events, but that's a view of it. Okay.
all right.
Next, I have real estate tax exemption requests for disabled veterans. Pretty long list here. Margaret Schaefer of Huckleberry Road, Jonestown. Robert Governick of Highland Drive, Jonestown. Matthew Buckmoyer of East High Street, Lebanon. James Furman, North Mill Street, Lebanon. Robert Hill, North Lebanon Street, Quentin. Darrell Poole, North 7th Street, Lebanon, Hector Rodriguez Jr., Chestnut Street, Lebanon, and Lisa Meese of Greenfield Drive, Lebanon.
Make a motion to approve those exemption requests.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay. Have one liquid fuels application for county aid from Palmyra Borough. They would like to use their allocation for the borough's paving project, which is slated to cost $453,500, and that's where they would apply their grant of $7,830.
Make a motion to approve the request from Palmyra Borough for $7,830.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
I have a letter to appoint, or a request to appoint to the Lebanon Transit Board. Unfortunately, they've experienced a vacancy due to the death of Patricia Pittenger on their board. And she was appointed back in 2017. As Terry notes in here, she was very dedicated to the authority and will be missed. And they are recommending the appointment of John Fitzkee, who you all know, is our transportation planner in the planning department, as a member of the Lebanon Transit Board, also commuter services, and has an understanding of LT's operations and public transportation. I did talk with Terry about this to see if there would be any sort of, how PennDOT would view this, being that John is part of the funding stream and they actually encourage it. So wasn't sure about that. So
Good checking out.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we nominate or appoint John Fitzkee. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
And the last item I have is the last request or installment of the Pennsylvania County Risk Pool, or P Corp, which is our general liability, or property and general liability insurance carrier. And they provide an opportunity to each member county each year of a $30,000 loss prevention grant to use toward things that might reduce our liability. And you've approved a number of these already. The grant runs from June 1 to May 31st, so this is the last installment, or this is the last one we have to fill out the $30,000 grant, and we're requesting $9,918.17. That's a pretty exacting amount because that's the balance we have to get us to the $30,000, and we can use this to replace some of the Guardian RFID Spartan hardware at the jail. That is the accountability program that actually P Corp funded the installation of it originally, and when they funded the installation, they made it known that if we choose to, we may use this grant to keep it up and to maintain it and so on. And that's Guardian RFID is where they can track an inmate's whereabouts if they are on suicide watch, for example. Every 15 minutes, a correctional officer will check in, and it'll demonstrate that someone was there, sort of like a time clock or a watch person type of check-in, and that leads to accountability, so that if in the event there is a loss or some sort of event, you have that data to show that the things that should have been done were done. And it's also utilized for accountability of staff, make sure they're doing the things they're supposed to be doing in the facility. So I ask your approval on that, $9,918 for that hardware, and then that'll wrap up our grant. We have a new period starting January 1. We'll have another $30,000 to move on. Safety Committee reviewed this and recommends it.
I'll make a motion to approve the Guardian RFID grant, prevention grant.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this P Corp loss prevention grant. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Just clarification, June 1 this year to May 31st next year?
Yeah, and we're still in the 22-23 grant period, so we need to wrap this one up by the end of this month. So that's what this is.
So this is the top is actually accurate. It says this is for prevention grant for 2022-23.
Yes.
It ends at the end of this month.
Yes. Yep, and we'll start over. And we already have some requests for items that'll come up at probably our June Safety Committee meeting.
Safety first. Okay, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved.
I might also add, if you don't mind, most of the grant items that were approved this year have to do with sheriffs, jail, probation, those sorts of departments, which seems heavy on that side. But that is where the liability these days, law enforcement liability is very high right now among counties. Lots of litigation for everything.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. Oh, anything from the floor? Motion to
So moved.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you all for your participation. Have a good day.